I forgot you couldn't hear me. Thanks for the follow, Pedikin. Muted again, cringe? Yeah. What's up, guys? How's life? My buttons aren't working today. Boop! I'll just use my mouse. Oh, yeah. What's up? Streamlabs? Yeah, I have Streamlabs and Stream Elements working, pretty much. Nathan contributing a lot to the volleyball goal. Wow. What's up, Diego? What's up, Doctor? What's up, Nathan? What's up, guys? What's up, Pedikin? Following? Be back in 20? Okay. Not muted anymore. By the way, I have some new stuff. Look at this. Wait. I don't know. Hello? Hello? Do you guys hear this? I could change my voice. I'm not muted. Stop lying. Watch.
How does my voice sound? Does it sound good? Does it sound like okay? Oh my god! Doctor, thank you!
How do you guys like that? Or do you not like it? Thank you for the sub, Doctor. Hey, I'm new. Thank you for subbing. Yeah. Thank you for subbing, Doctor. Oh yeah, it's 20% off subs because it's September. September, do you guys get it? What's up? Who's ready to play some Mario Kart? Next week we'll do a challenge. I'm gonna do a challenge next week. It's been a bit of time. But yes, how everyone doing, you know? I'm rated 3044 right now. What? It want 20% off? Scam. Yeah, you're right. I don't even know. Like, it's such a scam. Like, it wasn't... Wait, it wasn't 20% off? Really? Oh, well. Thanks for subbing anyway. I thought it's supposed to be September. Like, September. But yo, there's so many cool buttons. Look, watch this. It's like I'm at a restaurant. And look. Oh, someone's calling. Uh-oh. I better pick up. Hello, I'm at a restaurant. Yeah. Oh, someone just slammed the door. I'll call you back. Boop. You scared the shit out of me? It's not that loud, is it? I'm sorry. How about that? How's that sound? I got so excited to add these buttons, I swear. Like... Oh, now I could scare you guys instead of you guys scaring me. Or like, well, you guys don't scare me too often, but yeah. Yeah, I also added something so you guys could change my voice, but not really, because I have to press a button for it to happen. So I don't know how well it's gonna work, because I don't know if I could press buttons in the middle of playing the game, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Ooh, look how good I am. Jesus, this is why you gotta play every day. You become better at video games. Ah! I'm getting too much boost. That took not as long as I thought. Yeah, what's up? I feel like I haven't seen you in a while, Nathan. What's up? Even though I saw you, like, last weekend, no? Jesus, how much boosting? I say as if I'm complaining. I'm only in 5th. Whee! Oh, let's go! Let's go when Doctor isn't here. Hey, stop, banana. Get rid of your stupid banana. You fascist! Anyway. F you? Why F me? What'd I do? F you. Nah. Nah, you're alright. No reason to F you. I don't want to F you. You're underage. And male. Nothing wrong, you know. Ooh, I just stopped just to pick that up. But I just realized... Ah, are you kidding me? I just realized I still keep my stupid boomerang. Alright, watch this. This is... Ah, pro strats. Let's go! Back to third like it's nothing. You weren't even there, noob. You did not... Yeah, you weren't even there. Please. You left after like 15 minutes of it. You always leave during God Monkey streams. A lot. Not always, but a lot of the time. Yeah, actually, like, every time the past bunch of them. Alright? Bro, it was too scary. No horror games anymore. I'm sorry. I played it for quite some time. I played it even when you weren't there. I played it for quite some time. And then I changed to Genshin because I thought, oh, you know, this would probably be his second pick. But you weren't even there for Genshin, bruh. It's okay, though. Poop happens. Oh. Alright, let's get this. Wait, was that the last round? I'm an idiot. I should have used my mushrooms. Dogator for God Monkey. I mean, it's your points, so. Kaba. Kaba won. Japanese people are good in this game. Homework and art class because they're doing too many projects. Oh, that sucks. It's been a while since I watched it last time. It was when you was doing that drawing guess. Who is it? Roku, what's up? Your name is in dark blue, so I couldn't see who it was. I was like, Nathan. My headphones are dead and I'm finally enjoying the gameplay. Lies, Diego, lies. JK. I shouldn't have typed it out. I should have just said it to see if he was actually lying or not. How you doing, Roku? How's life? Oh my god, the dark blue is just cancerous. No, it's not cancerous. Cancer is probably worse. Yeah, I mean, I haven't been streaming as often. I stream now Tuesdays and Thursdays and once a month on for God Monkey on weekends. Because I've been, like, trying to add new stuff for stream and for YouTube, like this. Isn't that beautiful? And also this, I also added this. I don't know why, but I added it. It's so fun to press. I have the most gas on the planet. Why? What happened? Itachi is on the... I don't see Itachi. Oh. Yeah, I don't see Itachi. Unless you're talking about Atlas. What happened at school? What happened at the school? Girl you like, she no like you back? What happened? Oh my god, I just realized that there's like... The gingerbreads from... The cookie stuff from Shrek are in the crowds. I just realized that. I never look at my surroundings in video games. I should appreciate what all the artists have done, you know? Everywhere I go, there's people moaning and saying guys like each other. Okay. It's such a random thing. So you should say, well, I don't like guys. And then they're like, okay. And then you're like, well, And then, yeah. I don't know, bro. What are you, in middle school? Right? Middle school is one of the weirdest times in your life. And I'm speaking as if I lived my whole life. One of the weirdest times of your life until your 20s. Early 20s, at least. I can confidently kind of say that. And the reason is... because everyone's going through puberty. And everyone's just, you know... well, curious. Ah! And yeah. Wait, I'll read in a second. Oh! One moment, please. I don't want that stupid... Yes, I don't have the stupid boomerang. Bye, bye. Hey! You fascist! Oh, that's fine. Gingy, it's his name, not really how it goes. What? I say I don't like guys, and the gay guys say I still like you. Oh, that's... it cringes me? That's funny. Listen, man. Just embrace it. No, I'm joking. That could be sexual harassment. So, yeah, you should talk to someone about that. But it sounds like it's just cringe to you, so you're probably fine. I haven't had that experience. That's so funny how things have changed. When I went to school, all those years ago, when I went to second place, let's go. When I went to school, let's do some predictions. Will I be top 3 next game? Let's go. When I went to school, everyone would call each other gay, but it was more as an insult. Sorry for that sound. I was moving the mic. That's so interesting to me. Puberty is when your body changes and your voice drops really low and other stuff that you could search up online or ask your parents or someone about. Once a gay guy said to me that I didn't even have a chance to be with him. And 1, I'm not even gay, and 2, I didn't like him as a friend even. Bruh. Yo, and you were just like, bruh. Oh, that was badly timed. Check out my latest video. Roku, check out my latest video. It's a great video, but don't check it out now because you're here. So, yeah. I'm not a Russian man. You're in the middle of hitting puberty, Nathan. We have some quality ASMR. If you're not 18 or older, get out because things are gonna get spicy. Just kidding. I'm gonna stop because I don't like doing that. Because then oh my god, it is Itachi. Never mind. Choke on it. I'm not gonna choke on it. That's disgusting. I mean, for some people it's not disgusting, but for me it is. Anyway, I'm never sus. Not when I do ASMR or just in life. Anyway, that never stopped. It's honestly just cringe. When people insist on using that as an insult, like, bruh, try and think of something creative. I remember someone called me gay when I was in high school. I was like a freshman. I ended up like getting to know this guy. But he called me gay to try to impress some girls. And then he later found out that like I'm like Russian. Even though I'm not Russian. My parents are from the Soviet, like former USSR. So he assumed that I knew Russian, which I barely knew. And he's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry I called you gay. And then I acted like I knew that he called me that. I didn't even know he called me that. I was like, oh yeah, it's no problem, bro. Yeah, just a side story that I wanted to tell you guys because I don't know. Wait, give me a second. Watch this. You saw that? That was fucking sexy. No cursing, guys. No cursing. Cool story, but did we ask? Oh, Nathan's on. Ooh. But yeah, it's not a creative insult. I would agree to that. Especially since it's been heard since my day, and I'm like 20 years older than all of you guys combined. So, yeah. Did I just avoid a red shell by going... Yo, I'm a beast. I'm actually a beast at this game. At video games in general. Bye. Are you serious? Are you Syrian? What was that? Nothing wrong. I'm an idiot. I'm actually... That is a bruh. Oh my god. How you get a rocket and you pass literally everyone, bro? This game is so racist sometimes. Ooh, you saw that? That was a shortcut. Oh my god. Why is everyone getting rockets? Well, I'll read chat after this. Pshoo! Pshoo! By the way, anyone can join. If anyone didn't know that, then now you know. Oh my god. Yes! Come on, my butt. Come on. Let's go! Let's go! I don't know how that didn't hit me, but I'll take it. Come on, give me something. I'm an idiot! I'm an idiot! You asshole! No, third. Let's go! Let's go! Third place, baby. Qua, what's up? I am having fun. Hey, Chris, what's up? I just realized. Why does everyone have dark blue names? It's so hard to read your names. What's up, Chris? He beats his meat when he watches ASMR. Sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes. Me hears Pong through the door. Hears slapping sounds over and over. Oh my god. You have a lot of points in the game? Do I don't know. By the way, welcome, Quaff. Me be like, bruh. Oh, you could redeem bruh for like 20 points, so that's pretty cool. I added a voice thing. But yeah, Qua, if you'd like to join, more than welcome by adding me on Switch. But yeah, it is quite fun, this game, you know? I don't know if I have a lot of... Oh yeah, we're supposed to do the prediction. Wait, I won, right? Will I be top 3? I love how one person said no. You guys gotta vote to make it interesting. It's gambling. Don't you guys love gambling? Gonna make top 4. Will I be in top 4? Nathan's in the game now, so I just saw. What's up, Emily? Hoi. Hi, Emily. True. That is the correct spelling of her name. She's gonna be like, did you guys check out the new video? I'm in it. And everyone's like, yeah, I don't care. We care about Ping Pong Moosters and his... Ow! Wait, I hit the guy. Why'd I say ow? And his incredible ping ponginess. Yo, you saw that? Not anyone can just get 5 coins like that. Oh my god. Why is it so icy? Ah! Well, I guess it's because we're on ice. At least they don't know how to get coins. I thought that guy's name was Anus. Oh no, he has a red shell! You fascist? Oh, it didn't work. Okay. I didn't say anything, bro. You were gonna say it. And if you weren't, then I apologize, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a furry, alright? I would be proud if I was a furry. I would be a proud furry. I don't know why, but I would. Nothing wrong with being what you want to be in this world, you know what I'm saying? Oh! Goth mom. What kind of name's that? Ah, my god, I suck. There's supposed to be a secret here. Oh, here's the secret. Let's go! I'm actually a beast, question mark? Oh my god, that was like the first time I ever took that shortcut. Oh, this is the map that changes every round. Or whatever. Maybe I shouldn't have thrown that right now. I don't know if I want to pass... Oh, he didn't even get hit. Come on. Oh, I almost died! Are you serious? You... If that hits him... Oh, it hit him! Let's go! Let's go. I gotta save this one in case someone hits me or passes me last... Let's go. No. Are you kidding me? No, what? I'm not even first anymore. This game is retarded. This game's stupid. This game's actually stupid. Hi guys, Becca, is you here? Becca is not here from what I've seen. A. Yes, after A comes B. My IQ went up and then down. Listen, I tried my bestest. Thanks, Nathan. What place you got, Nathan? I did not see. Not see? No, I was just saying I did not see. Thanks, Diego, I guess. 9th place? Okay. Okay, you know, pretty bad, but not that bad, you know, so, you know. I was saying it could be worse. It could always be 10th or 2nd, or you're about to get or you're in 2nd, and then you just get hit and you go to 5th or something. You know, stuff like that could happen. Anyway, I think my stream deck has so much stuff that it can't handle itself. I wish that I could enjoy this game like you again, but it's hard to after getting 99,999. Oh, do you actually have that many points? Have you maxed out? Jesus. Hey, what's up, Becca? Well, the nice thing about that is that you could help people that suck like me and help me get better. Plus, I'm sure you could enjoy by playing with people who suck like me and owning them. Or playing with like friends and owning them. But I guess, yeah, when you don't have an objective in terms of score, it could be annoying. I'm here, bro. How did I get hit? That's what you get for hitting me. And he didn't get hit. Okay. What? I don't know if I enjoy this game, to be honest. I enjoy yelling at this game. Bruh, indeed. Bruh, indeed. Oh, wow. That's helpful. This is helpful, though. Ah! Oh. What? It's like I avoid getting hit, and then I get hit by something else. Oh my god, these guys are so lost. Oh. Monkey do very bad. I'm sorry. Monkey trying his best. And that's like so racist. Just because I'm brown doesn't mean I'm a monkey. Oh my... Oh. That actually worked out pretty well. I got the boost. Oh, and I just missed that. Bro, I'm getting hit like every time. What's going on? It's like I get lucky and then I just get hit. Japan. I was watching your new YouTube video and it's pretty funny. Oh, thanks. I try my best. It's my best edited video. And by best, I mean... If that rocket passes me... Get out of here, you fascist. By best, I mean that it's very fast-paced compared to my other videos, I think. I think it's my most fast-paced video. Like, it's just boom, boom, boom. Because I realize that everyone has ADHD on YouTube, so you have to, like, adhere to their desires. I just realized that 3 mushrooms. The most points you lose in one race is minus 38. That doesn't seem too bad. Are you serious? I thought it would give me 3 mushrooms. How am I supposed to... Oh my god, I hate this game. Well, I think that was the least luckiest game I've ever had in my life. Assuming they don't actually have it, but you would lose like 1,000 points from losing to a bunch of 2000s at that high rating. Japan. Oh yeah, I was getting excited for Japan. Yeah, because every time Japan popped up in GeoGuessr, I knew like right away. It was so cool. You lost a lot against Ping. Hey! Oh, that makes me feel good. I was exaggerating. Oh. His sister's there at LOL. Nah, it was just a bad joke by Doctor. Don't worry, Quaff. Is your name supposed to be Queef? Sorry, just asking. My mom? The rocket with the follow-up with 2 red shells. Yeah, I got owns too. After this game, I'll have... Let me text my mom. Mom, they want you again. Oh my god, sounds so weird. You redeemed my... I don't know how you have 4,000 points to redeem, but... Guys, my mom's gonna come soon. That scoring is more closer to Mario Kart Wii. Ah, interesting. I didn't realize it was different. That's interesting. Chris, I was thinking, if I lived in different places in the world and I played GeoGuessr, I would be like a beast. I would recognize everything. So many countries were Finland, though. For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, we did a challenge where I got slapped in the face. For every country I got wrong in GeoGuessr. You could check that out at YouTube. Mods, put my YouTube... They should put it without me even saying, since I mentioned it, but, you know, it's fine. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yes, it would be. Oh! But my mods don't remember that you can't use YT, that you have to spell out YouTube. Oh, cringe. Cringe. Thank you, Diego. To be fair, I should probably add Y2 as a thing to access the YouTube too. I just messed up because I looked at chat. Never look at chat as a streamer, guys, when playing Mario Kart. Oh my god. Oh my god, if I died again there, I would have cried. Kwa, you might get a little scared when my mom comes. She looks a bit weird. Cause my sister redeemed for my mom to come over. Cost 4,000 points. And yeah. I don't know. She doesn't look weird, but she's a bit flirtatious. I don't know. Is that the right word? It's probably the right word. Oh, but bro, I'm getting hit by every... Oh, that was so close. What? Are you serious? Are you Syrian? Yes, yeah, give me this. Oh my god. This literally does nothing for me. I care not about this. And yes, a red shell will hit me. This game's so dumb. Dr. Cringe, mod wannabe. Shut up, you're 15. That's such a, like... Wow. First of all, none of us know the true age of Diego. Okay? How did the rocket hit me? There's only speculation. Okay? No one actually knows. Oh my god, can they just give me a rocket? Everyone in front of me gets a fucking rocket. I mean, behind me. Sorry for the cursing. Alright, give me 2 rockets or I'm gonna cry. Thank you. Jesus. I don't curse, Becca. That wasn't me. Jesus. Old enough to be your mom? What? Oh, with your mom. Alright, let me go get my mom. Hello? Hi, guys. This is Ping Pong's mom. Did someone want me here? Hello? Daddy Doctor? What does that mean? Well, I'm so excited to be with you guys. Ping just went out to get a drink or something. I don't know. Hi, Emily Awesome. Oh my god, you sound so cool. What? Did you say my hair is weird? Did you... Ping, they called my hair weird. Ping doesn't care, like always. Oh my god, Ping never cares. But you guys are so mean to me. Like, oh my god. I'm just a mother. I try my best. I raise Ping to be a smart, mature young man. And what does he do with his life? He plays video games and he tries, I don't know what he's doing with his life. He has a degree and he spends his time, I don't know. And I try to come here and give you entertainment and nothing. Your son is a bum that lives... No, he's not. I've raised my son to be a very good young man. But yeah, he's not doing much with his life right now. And I hope he can't hear me, but I'm just... Sometimes I'm a little disappointed in him, you know. Anyway. Oh my god. That was close. So how's everyone here doing today? Oh my god. I'm in 12th. That's not good, right?
Oh my god. Did I get a perm? No. This is my natural hair. Excuse me? With his body pillow? Yeah, he bought it on Craigslist. Which is really weird. Like, why didn't he buy it on, like... I used to stick up to him, but lately I just don't know what he's doing with his life, and it's kind of irritating me. Have you heard of Sea of Thieves? No, what is Sea of Thieves? What is that? I do the baby. What is the baby? I don't know what this means, guys. I'm sorry. Pink, what does the baby mean? Pink.
Shut up, Mom.
Oh my god, Ping is so mean to me. I don't know, I'm sorry. Let's go? Let's go. Jelly bean? What is this? I'm so... Oh, I think I remember jelly bean. There should be a jelly bean here, right? Give me... let me see. Oh my god. Where's the jelly bean? Oh my god. Ping, your chat is so rude. They just said something really mean to me, and I'm sorry, I can't do this. This is... Oh my god. This is too much. I mean, thanks for those of you that were nice, but... Well, some of those nuts will fit in my mouth.
Did you actually do the nuts joke? That was 5 minutes. My mom came for 5 minutes. I counted on the side. Or maybe it was like 4.5, but you guys did jelly bean? Aw, damn. And let's go. I'll do it for you guys since you didn't do it. Let's go. Yeah. Sorry, my mom's a bit weird. Buy weird hair. Yeah. Honestly, she hasn't gotten out much lately, so her hair is kind of grown. It looks kind of bad right now. Go away, bring mom back. Bro, I don't know, she got like offended or something. But then excited at the same time. Probably from what doctor said in chat. Yeah, I do have weird hair. Oh, you guys haven't seen my mom in a while though, right? You guys didn't ask if she's doing well, you know, if she has COVID, like God forbid. Like, you guys didn't ask anything. Do you not even care? But then again, if you said that, I don't know. Oh. I don't know what she would have said. I don't have weird hair, it's just my hair, bro. I'm always a bit hesitant to bring my mom to the show when when new people pop in. Cause it's like, what place did she get, by the way, guys? But because it's like, I feel like it's oh Jesus. Oh, that guy did not expect that. Because she's kind of like she's a bit weird sometimes, and for the people that are new, they might not like realize how weird I am, and it might like turn them off to. Oh! No! I'm such an idiot. I could have had the banana out so much quicker. But anyway. And just like that, I get hit twice, and I'm... Jesus. I'm down to... Oh my god. We hit the mother load. Yeah, except not really, because this guy got a star. I don't want to hit him. I think I could pass him. They stole it? Thanks for your boost. No! Yes! Yes! Let's go, baby! Let's go! Let's go! Oh my god, I guess I got, like, my mom got 12th and I just got first. Hell yeah. She got 12th, right? Oh my god, that jelly bean did not taste good. Nasty like always. The mother load, more like doctor's load on my... What? Did you just disrespect your mom like that? The mother load, more like doctor's load on my mother. What? Nathan, what happened? I love Luigi. Bro, one of the funniest things in life... Here, let me show you guys. Let me show you guys one of the... Look at my hair, by the way. It's changing colors again. One of the funniest things in life right here. I'm gonna show you guys, okay? Boop, 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 boop. Alright. This. It's not actually. It's not that funny, but I'm just... Luigi says... What happened? No! Luigi says N-word? What is this? Oh my god. Racist Mario? What if Luigi lost his card in Mario Kart? What is this 13-minute video? I just want to see the clip where he goes, what happened? I kind of want to click on this, but I probably shouldn't click on this on stream. Whatever. I guess when I lose, you guys will hear it. And for those that know, he goes, what happened? Yeah, like Dr. But gonna do homework? Alright, see you, Emily. Uncomfy moment. Well, when you put a load on Diego's mother, who's a pharmacist, no, I lied, who deals with drugs, then, you know, of course you're gonna feel uncomfortable. Click on racist Luigi. Don't tell me what to do with my life, okay? Are you saying that this gameplay, this amazing gameplay, is not as good as... is worse than... What was I saying? You know what I was saying. I'm a good streamer. Is less entertaining than racist Luigi? Jesus, I can't speak English. Guys, if I was racist, would you still watch me? Because I'm totally not, but... It's such a dumb thing to say. Oh my god, I hit him with a banana. Stupid I knew it! Fascist. The hell? Did he just boost me into the grass? It's like 10,000 IQ move. By a 10,000 IQ player. Watch this. Wanya. What does that even mean? Oh, I hit the Japanese guy. Sorry, Japanese guy. Go, 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 go. Oh my god, go fat. Oh my god, I wasted the mushroom. Just like last night when I was doing drugs under the table. What am I doing? What am I actually doing? I can't even turn. What the hell was that? Are you serious? Are you serious? And Baby Mario gets everything? Well, I guess you are gonna hear the... What happened? Freaking fascists. Oh, now he's a Luigi, not happy. I pick heads. Because I have a head. Doesn't even make sense. I wanted to press a button. Which button did I want to press? Oh yeah, I added a counter. I was thinking of doing a subathon soon. What do you guys think of a subathon? Like in October. A 1 month subathon. Well, it would be 24 hours that could add up to 1 month. And I would have goals of like making and uploading a song on Spotify with you guys. Like you guys help me create the lyrics and stuff. I feel like that would be cool. Getting to a certain chess rank, getting to level 500 on words on stream. Maybe a Jump King goal. But yeah. Pink, more like sing. So funny. I guess I gotta crush you for a few games once. I just lost. But yeah, I mean, you could if you want. Oh my god, yes. That would be fun, right? Each sub would add an hour to the time. I think that would be okay. I calculated that to basically add up. Wait, what did I calculate that? I don't remember. Alright, good. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. But good night, Nathan. May Jesus be with you and enjoy school. Well, he doesn't need to be with you to enjoy school. But yeah. Oh my god. Yo, that guy was retard. How did he fall there? Oh my god, I almost fell. I was like, how did that guy fall there? And then I just screwed up equally as bad. Come on, come on. Yes, okay. Come on. Don't hit my red shell. Don't hit my red Oh. Don't hit my red shell. Oh, that guy better use all this. Yo, use them, use them. Wanya, use them. Freaking scariest guy here. Wait, did I use my red shell? What just happened? I don't believe in God? Well, I don't care because God is real. Just kidding. I don't know. I don't believe in believing or disbelieving in God. Because I just don't know. I'm in 4th place. I thought I was getting owned more. Ooh, let's go. I just picked up 10. Well, I didn't pick up 10, but I have 10 coins now. Let's freaking go. There's another doctor in this game. And he's gonna get owned, bro. Because he's a slave. Wait, what? No, that's not what. I wish that was the last round. No! Are you freaking kidding me? I'm agnostic too? Yeah, I think everyone is agnostic though. Unless people have seen God or have been able to confirm that there is no God, right? Everyone is technical because no one knows. That's just that's just reality. Like a lot of things in life, we just don't know the answer. Oh! Answer to. That's my position on that. Anyway. Boop! Let's go! Get out of here, Kaba! I'm not letting the Japs win. Sorry, the Japanese people. Let's go! Let's go! Oh, I'll take second. I'll frickin' take second. Let's go. Let's go. I think I scared away Quaff. Or my mom scared him away, I should say more accurately. I feel like when people see the weird side of me and they're just meeting me, they get scared away pretty easily. I could be wrong though. Oh my god, I was so good there. After a few more games, we will go on to a community game. Depending on how many people we have, we might go on. What a shame. Wait, were you in that game? You didn't get first, did you? Or you just came in? Oh no, you didn't get... Were you in that game? If you were in that game, you suck, bro. Yeah, what a shame. What a shame. This is my... Oh no, it's not my last game. Oops. Oh, you were spectating. Yeah. I didn't do too bad. Right? I didn't do too bad. It's like, God is dog backwards, and dog is a man's best friend, and we don't care about women, so I think God is real. That's my logic. But then I say I'm agnostic to appease the masses, but yeah. I don't know how many times Hamigaki-ko? That person's name was literally Letter, I think. Child of Letter or something. Anyway. Guys, if I ever take it too far with my dumb jokes, Well, there's nothing called. There's no such thing as too far, right? Oh, I just boosted off Doctor. Thank you. Arigato gozaimasu. Oh my. Never mind. I suck. I'm gonna stop just to get this. Really? I stopped to pick up the double item in 12th place and I get 4 mushrooms. Suck what? 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 Did anyone talk about sucking? Because I'll suck your... What? What are you talking about? Ugh! Ugh! Watch this. Just go through the train, bro. Get out of here! Yeah, get out of here! Oh my god. I had like a second left on that and I intentionally like hit that person. Let's go, question mark. I see Doctor, he's straight ahead. And he's straight, I think. Oh my god! How? I still got my items, so I'm not complaining, but Jesus. Get out, Zelda. Japan is so powerful. In this game, not in real life, but... You know the Japanese Prime Minister is apparently gonna retire. He's stepping down because he handled Corona bad. That's what a Japanese person told me. He's stepping down because he sucked at the handling of Corona. And because of something else that I forgot. But there's another reason. Poor Yoshi keeps getting hit by me. Red shell coming your way, bro. I'm assuming Doctor's... Oh no, Doctor's not first? Doctor is first. Why am I surprised? Wait, what? But you're not surprised! Bro! How many red shells? Oh my god. Stop talking about Japan ever... Listen, I had a Japanese lesson today. That's why, okay? Oh, I see Doctor. What? Wait, if this red shell hits you, let me know, Doctor. Oh, this is a terrible... Oh my god, no. Oh, he already crossed it. Let's go! Oh, no, that's not that good. I don't talk about Japan every second. What if I went to North Korea? What if I escaped North Korea? Okay? If I escaped North Korea to live a life in America as a streamer, and I streamed, and I talked about North Korea every day, would you say the same thing? That's right, now you don't know what to say. Now, I bet you feel like an ass, yeah? You feel like that was not nice. Yeah. Yeah, anyway. What a shame, he didn't get first place. Doctor didn't get first place. Alright, let me see some. Cancel voice? That's supposed to cancel if someone gets a voice. But I guess I'll just shut up now, is what you're trying to say. That's not how it works. I don't... Wait, how long does it last? I could still make sounds. Okay, last thing I'm gonna say. Can you at least tell new people that pop in why I'm not talking? Oh my god. Thank you. You say it like new people come in. Yeah, that's fair. Hey, that's not nice. Oh my god. I wanted to say so many things. Oh, and he gets first. Bro. It's... Never mind. I didn't know cancel voice is necessarily that. I mean, I did kind of know, but... I found a new thing called crowd control. Where you guys could, like... use chat. I think you could use channel points and bits or whatever. To, like, make me do stuff in-game. But it's limited to X amount of games. So I'll have to look into it more. I don't know.
Hello! If you need real free and high quality service to increase your viewers, check streamdetails.com! Top streamers already use it!
9 binary pride. That's so randomly inserted into there. Hey, why'd you ban him? He said 9 binary pride. That's nothing wrong with that. I'm joking. It's a joke. Calm down. I'm sorry. Now I'm gonna get canceled by Twitter. Just kidding, because not enough people watch me for me to get canceled. Haha! That's how you trick the system. Oh my god, I literally can't... Oh, I'm so good at this game. Never mind. Insanity windmill. See, new people do come in. Stole 3 green shells. Ow! And then hit me with my own green shell? Are you serious? Did that just happen? Or am I seeing things? Why do I keep getting hit? I'm in 11th place getting hit by the person in 12th place. What is this? Oh my god. And okay, I'm just an idiot. What was that? I actually can't complain there.
I'm always afraid to ban because maybe it's a viewer making the bot joke.
The funny thing is, I've seen someone do the bot joke is usually not that message, to be honest. How is this round 3? Didn't we just start this map? What are they giving me at 11th and 12th place? This game is stupid! I'm not getting last. Oh my god. It's because of Insanity Windmill. I don't think someone would use that joke as the first thing, but maybe.
What a shame!
You know how I could ignore you saying what a shame? Just taking off my headset and not looking at the screen. That's it. I'm all good. I see it from the corner of my eye, though. YouTube. Now Charlotte's saying it. I thought my newest video was gonna pop off. I was so happy. I was like, this video, it's a good video. Oh, actually, wow. 70% of viewers were still watching at around the 30-second mark. Usually it's less. YouTube statistics. But this is a marathon, not a sprintate. I'm going to be doing Twitch until I'm 30. Well, I'm gonna be doing it unsuccessful. I'm gonna be really successful when I'm 30. Yeah. It's hard to stand you for more. Then why don't you sit me? You get it? Because you said it's hard to stand you. Don't you hate when people try so hard with their jokes? It's so irritating. I hate when people do that. 11th place and they give me 3 mushrooms. Racist. I've said it before, but this game is actually racist. You freaking crab. These crabs and mushrooms. Are you I feel like I'm 10 years old again and I'm getting hit by the crabs. I actually don't know what's going on. What? Sonic! Oh, that's not Sonic. Who's that? Cough, cough, doctor. Oh, do you have a cough and you need to go to the doctor? Never mind. I feel like you guys think I'm a fool. Oh, watch this, watch this. Imagine a ghost takes my rocket. I wonder if a ghost in first place could take a rocket. What the hell was that? No! You fascist! Anyway. Oh, 3 mushrooms. Yes, this is the only... Bro, what's going on? Is this the only thing the game knows how to give me? And do I suck? You know what? No. No. How am I not in 12th? Nope. If this guy passes me... Oh my god. Bro, I was about to say... Wait, it is 200cc? That's why I kept crashing. I didn't realize. Oh my god, do you pay attention? Like, in the... Yeah, you're good with the bra. Like, what is it now? It only tells you when it goes on the map? How do you know you have 8-second delay? What if I just respond 8 seconds late? But yeah. The time it comes up in the stream. Bruh. Wait, what? I don't get it. Whatever. I don't need to get it. I'm not back in school. I'm a streamer for a reason. I don't know what the reason is, but I am. In the chat that's in the stream. No, the chat that's in the stream is delayed. Thanks for the applause. No, you're wrong. Don't applaud. You're applauding no one except me for being right. That chat is delayed. Look, this is the true way to see it, okay? Alright, type something in chat and I'll respond the second you type it. And then start counting. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, you know? Something in chat. Okay, I responded maybe... What?! Like 5 seconds... No, not 5 seconds. 7 seconds? Okay, how about now? How about now? That time I responded the second I saw it. And my hand-eye... Why am I doing so bad? This is not... This is 150... What? This is 150cc, right? Are you kidding me? Oh, okay, it's not too bad. Bro, what's going on, bro? How... What's going on? And they're all getting rockets! Oh my god. Alpha quaffed before saying, oh, I wish I could have fun in this game again. What's the def... And I waste... I The redeems... Certain redeems take longer than others, but yes. Okay, I'm in 10th, 11th. If they don't... I don't need this shit. Oh my god. I'm actually gonna cry. Oh my god. Is there any possible way for me to catch up? Oh yes. Hamigaki-ko. The stupid Japanese name. Not because you're Japanese, but because your name is stupid. Oh. Oh! Oh my god, imagine I passed Doctor last second with a rocket from like 9th place. Oh, that would have been so good. That would have been so good. Oh. I got hit by 5 goddamn red shells. Oh, you just complaining. Oh, I got hit by 5 goddamn... Listen. I got hit by more than that. You don't hear me complaining. Wait, you do hear me complaining, but... Hey! You're right, you did still beat me. I let you win. I try to appease my viewers so that you could feel like you're a god at this game. Hi, I'm new. Yeah, I complain too much on this game. Yo, smell that, guys? Doesn't it smell mad good? Win right now, then? But then if I do that, you're never gonna play with me again because you'll know that I hustled you. Well, it's only hustling if we bet on something. How about this? If you win, if you beat me, then you have to gift the sub to Diego. If I beat you, then I have to gift the sub to Diego. And if Diego... that's about it. Or we could just not do that. Ah! Win right now. I messed up! And I'll spend 10k channel points. What is that, my stepsis? Why would I care if you spend 10k channel points? That's not real money! I want to buy more... What would I buy? I want to buy more skins for my Fortnite account. How can I do that without your gifted subs? Actually, if you spend 10k... I kind of... To be honest, I kind of want to see a new God Monkey. Just because, like, it's been so long. So... I kind of don't want you to spend 10k. Nothing wrong with Nathan. Nathan's actually great. He's very nice to all... I hit you with that! I hit you! That was me! I hit you! I hit you! I hit you! I was the one that hit you with that. Sounds like a good idea to me. I wonder why! I don't know what that was supposed to be. The one advantage he has over me is that he's better at this game. Oh my god, what was that? I got a rocket in 5th place. Oh my god, the game is actually loving me. Oh my god. Oh no, a red shell. Whatever will I do? Oh, I wish that was the last round. I wish that was the last round. No! Why is someone getting a rocket behind me? Get... Oh my god, no, no, no. Oh, I suck! I actually suck! I don't deserve to live! I was second! Stupid fire. What's going on with the map? Why everything destroyed? Oh. Is he about to pass me? Let's go! Let's go! Woo! Let's go by one! Oh my god! I told you I hustle you, bro. I hustle you. But you don't need to give sub. I was just joking around. Well, I wasn't, but you know. Listen, I do it for you guys. Do we see any caps around? No. I do it for you guys. I feel bad, you know. You do need to give the sub. Oh. I guess if you don't want me to spend them. It's your decision at the end of the day. But let the record show that I beat Doctor when going real. Let the record show. Let the record show. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, listen, I did it. No, don't quit forever. You see, this is the reason why I hide my abilities from you guys. Because if I was too good, it would be boring to watch. I would win every race. But also, if I beat you all the time, Doctor, like, I don't want to embarrass you in front of, like, the public arena, in front of thousands of viewers. So, you know. I do what I gotta do. But, you know, I don't know. I have a feeling you might win this time, Doctor. The funny thing is, it honestly felt more like... Oh, I forgot there's a puddle there. It honestly felt like he was giving the win to me. That's what it felt like for some reason. And at the same time, it felt like I was so, like... I was in second, I was doing so good, I was getting lucky, and then I fell off the map, and I was like, that's it, it's over. And somehow, oh my god, it's so funny. Hey, Nico, what's up? I love your green character thing now. I'm doing well, how are you doing? I'm first, but don't worry. My player is a bot. The record is 90. You do not have the record. You do not have the record. One more will be my 100th game. Your 100th win, you mean? If you get to 100 wins. That's the thing you forget. It could be that I go on a 60 win streak, but you know, I feel bad for you, so I'll let you get it. Why'd you leave the lobby? What, your character is a bot? No, you're a bot. No. Oh. What a stupid. He tried to stop so it would hit me. He should have kept going to get further at least. Oh, it's so much easier to play without Doctor. Oh, I'm an idiot! Actually, to be honest, I wanted to test the hypothesis that if you... I thought I might be able to... I thought, like, if you're too much sideways that you still get hit by red shells. Green shells don't help. But for some reason, it didn't feel like that from previous games. So I wanted to test that right now. Like, that's, like, not even joking. 2 green shells? I was expecting a red... Oh, my God. There we go. Oh, my God, I'm an idiot. Let me get third. Oh, my God. Your bot's in 12th? Oh, it is in 12. I see it now. Oh, yeah. They sent me another shirt for the merch. I don't know if it looks good or not. I can't tell. You guys let me know, okay? I'll be right back. Wait, I have a song.
I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm back. I think it looks a bit weird. I don't know why. The quality looks a bit... Wait. The quality looks a bit weird. I'm either gonna get a different seller. It doesn't look bad on camera. I'm gonna ask my fam what they think. It looks a bit weird. What I might do is I might end up taking it off or finding a different place to sell merch. Not like, you know, I should sell so much merch, but why is there a percent thing? Check out my latest one. I lost 30 points for that. Look at my excuse me, sorry. Wait, for what? I'm good though, Nico. How are you? I don't know if you heard me say that before. Oh, I think Doctor left because he was scared of not being able to get the 100th win against me. Listen, fair enough, man. Like, it's understandable. It's kind of scary going up against the Ping Pong Moosters. So, ow! Okay, I'm waiting for this. There we go. I don't even care. It's worth it. I'm actually trash. What was that? Oh, come on. Come on. What if I do this? Nani kore? What is this? Come on, come on, come on. Come on. No. Come on. Yo, everyone's so close to each other. Just like when I was... Never mind. Bruh. Just like when I was with your mom. Diego. Sorry. Imagine your mom heard that part. How? I have 3 freaking... Never mind. I love how people are running into it, but I got hit by a red shell. It is what it is. Bruh. Oh, you waste... Wait, what'd you lose 30 points for? I still don't really understand. For the bruh? Because that's 20 points, and it eventually came. Wow, I stole a banana. Crazy things are happening. Whoa! No! Are you kidding me? And he ran over me? Why is everyone big? What, they all got stars and rockets? Yo, this game's actually stupid. It's actually stupid sometimes. It makes no... Can we get a wow for that? You threatened your own mother. Of course, the Japanese people win. Huh. That was pretty good, right, Doctor? In the end, how I came back. Okay, last game, and we'll go to Gartic or something. Bye. I was joking, Diego. I'm sorry. What can I do to make it up to you? At a bye, I'm old. Wait, what does that even mean? Bye, I'm old. Maybe we'll add it. Give me a good reason to add it and I'll add it. It'll be like,
Bye, I'm old and you're young.
or something. It'll be like,
Bye, I'm old and you're young.
like I'm new, but opposite. Oh. Make it cost 30k points, though. How many points do you have now, Doctor? Out of curiosity. Oh, so you have to be old. Oh, that's a good one. That's actually a good one. The thing is, if the whole thing is literally that you just redeem it and it does the same thing as hi, I'm new, then it would be so stupid. I don't know if people would approve of that, you know? If it's 30k, it would have to be for more than just the meme. I'm actually playing so well now. I get so intimidated when Doctor is on the field because he's so good. But it's like fun to play with him. Like, not like that to play with him. Oh my god, never mind, guys. Edit, please. Alright, how much do you want it to cost? Hey. That guy just boosted me. Don't boomerang me. You're gonna regret it. Did he steal it? Get out of here, you stole my freaking thing. Oh, and he has boosts, god damn it. 10k points? What would it do, though? Give me the boost. Let's go! Let's go, question mark? Am I actually a beast at video games sometimes? Is this mirror? Why does it feel like mirror? I got the... Ah! I suck! Bye. Bomb. I love bombing people. And I'm Jewish. 66.6, but I keep spending them. Well, you didn't spend too much today, right? 10k, nothing, just like hi, I'm new. Old roll in Discord. What? I don't understand what fascination is with rolls. I mean, I do to an extent. But would that old roll be like... Would that old roll be like an old roll... What? Did that guy just teleport? He has red shells. Ah! I suck at... Ah, you fascist! How did I not get hit by that? That guy waited for me to hit me. Would that roll just be a roll? Well, I could add it, sure. That's such a dumb reward. Bye, I'm old. Bye, I'm old. This does nothing. Do not redeem. You have been warned. There you go. 10,000 on Discord. It has been done. Just put it one above the normal one. Give it a gold name or something. But no different privileges. You actually redeemed it? Oh my god. Well, you've been warned in real time. He got so excited to use that. Oh my god. What? Oh, I have no words. Like, I don't know why I wouldn't do that. If I was a viewer and I saved up 10,000 points. Oh my god, you're crazy. You can't really complain about having 7k now. It's like, did I just make an oink? I don't like oinking. I keep doing well. It's hard to stop playing. Ow! Why does my motorcycle sound broken? Okay, let's see. Hey, listen. As long as you feel like it was a good investment, I'm happy. Oh my god, I missed everything. I guess I could add though. Should I add? No. I'll keep it a secret for whether I add it or not. The thing is, you get different colors for other stuff too, for levels on the Discord. So if you become like level 10,000,000,005, or I think if you become level 10, you get access to secret channel. I don't know if you guys knew that. And there's some other cool stuff. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Get hit, get hit. I hit myself! Oh, that guy just boosted me. Let's go, question mark? You gotta be kidding me. Nope. Watch this, watch this. No! I just had a rocket! Oh my god. Give me an old Discord roll? No. You were warned. Could have given me those points so I could use it for myself. Listen, read the description. Read what the description says. What does it say? Freaking fascist. Stole my freaking... Come on. Yes, purple boost. Let's go. Oh, come on my butt, bro. Whatever. Let's go on strike until he gives the roll. Alright, let me see. Where's Diego? When was the last time he talked in chat? I don't even see him. How am I supposed to give him a roll when I don't see him on the Discord? Talk, please. Thank you. Oh, wait, you're purple for a mod, so you're not even going to see the color. You screenshotted it. Bro, you wanted it. Oh my god. You guys are so weird sometimes. Alright, let me create the roll. Old. Let me get a nice gold color in here. It's gonna be like brown. I don't know where to put it. That's what she said. I could put it above PP Squad, but it won't even change his color. Yeah, let me give it to Diego. Oh my god. Wait, let me do another thing. I'll add it so you could ping all the old people. I knew, Doctor. I knew you were gonna do that. Why would you waste so many points? I'll give it to you after the game. Y'all on another level. Is it that boring here that you have to come up with with an old roll? Well, I was about to say, what if someone who's new gets the roll, but then I'm an idiot. I just realized you have to have 10,000 points. Boom. I feel like this never helps doing those boosts. But it must, right? Really. I get hit once and 4 people pass me. I feel like I've played with these people before. Am I getting stream sniped? Like before today. This is a legendary? Yeah, okay. Well, I guess it's like lore, right? Lore? I don't know. It's an inside thing. I want to have... Ow! I don't know what I'm saying. Is Doctor even old? Ah! Is Doctor even old though? He's been here for like a month. Is that even considered old? That's karma for talking crap about Doctor. I literally just died. I seeded the idea of a gold name because I just wanted a gold name winning. The thing is, once you reach other goals... Oh, look at that timing. Oh, that's literally couldn't have been better. I want to hit them all. Get out. Get out. Go, go, you fish. Go, fish up all the coins. And you did nothing. Why are there so many stars? We're in 4th place. Why is there a rocket? We're in frick... You stole my item! This game's actually stupid. Why are there stars behind me? And I get through... Alright, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm taking 4th. What a... Oh my god. I just wanted... Yeah, but once you get other rolls, it's gonna supersede that. Then you noob, you didn't even tag me right. Oh, no, I didn't do it yet, but I'm just saying. Bro, so little. It's because I haven't played... What's age? It's because I haven't... I don't stream as much lately. But yeah, you're not around anymore. Why did that sound so weird? You're playing jump game? Okay. I gave you... Oh my god, I almost gave you PP God by accident. Oh yeah, you do get that wrong. It kind of looks orangey. I couldn't get a nice gold, but I could change the color. If it concerns you. And I'll allow anyone to mention this role. Because you guys are special. Special peeps over here. It actually looks nice. I like that color. Your map making? Yeah, I figured. Make it higher than PP Kohai? No! That doesn't make sense. Kohai should be higher. Oh, yeah. Either way, you have mod. Mod is purple. Mod should be gold, I guess. Gold seems cooler. Bagram? Ooh, wow. Listen, sir. PP Kohai is not the only thing around. What were you doing with lifetime? Check me. You're trying to see your lifetime hours? You know it's reset every month. You could check the Hall of Fame on the Reddit. Exclamation point Reddit. To show anyone who might want to join. But the Hall of Fame is there where you can see everything. This map's really annoying. How do I play so bad? Am I just so good that I've made it to the top echelon of players? Bog refers to the lowest you can fall. I thought you were just saying bog, like a bog. Like, you know, bog is a word also. Oh, that was lucky. And I just misused it. Like, really misused it. Bro, this map's actually insane. Let's go. I'm actually gonna come back right here. Get out of my face. I'm first? Oh no, that was an accident. No one hit me. No one hit me. No one hit me. No one hit me. That was an accident. Why do I... Ah, you fascist! Let's go. I'm actually an idiot. I could have used those speeds so much better. Yo, why is that so slippery like it's wet? Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Whatever. Whatever. Oh. What does PP Kohai mean? Well, let me tell you, sir. Are you PP Kohai? Oh, you are a PP Kohai, right? If you go to PP Kohai, the chat, the secret chat, and you scroll... Oh, wait. And you look at the pinned message, you'll know what it means. So not much, but it means something. I can't just say Kohai means like underling, kind of. I don't know how to say it in English. I can't decide what to do with the floor. Make it crater-like or still do rocks. Make it crater-like. Make it a crater that it's like this. It would piss off so many people that you have to jump at a certain angle to get out. It's like a semicircle. That would be funny. And very annoying if you could do that. And if you want to do that. And if you want to listen to any advice I say or anything I say ever in life. Yeah. Alright, let's go to this. I have so many notifications. Bap boop. Boop boop beep bap boop. Boop boop beep bap boop boop. Should I play Pixelmon, guys? Nah, right? Press the wrong button. That's not what I meant. I've already done the level design. I'm working on the art. Oh. Maybe do both and then ask people which one they think is better. And, oh my god, I wasted that mushroom. Unless it would take too much time to do both. I'm actually what was that? Oh my god. What's going on, bro? Oh, my vagina hurts. What was that? Ah! What am I doing? I wonder if that's more effective. Let's... What? No, I'm not gonna stay... Yeah. If I were to say, I would say crater. Actually, no, I don't know. Hard thing to say. Are you... Are you serious? What was that? Bye. I'm staring at his ass too long. I don't like Bowser that much. Let's go. Let's go. See, the key to this game is to play better. I actually screwed that up so bad. I thought I was gonna pick it up, but I didn't. Why do you have a star in 5th place? This game make... Get out. I hit the wrong person. God damn. Are you serious? Why do you have a star for half an hour? Anyway. Whew. I'm so happy I hit all those people on the way out. I'll send ass of the crater. I don't want to see the ass of the crater. I just want to see the crater. But yeah, I'll look at it. That looks cool. I like that. I like the craters more than the rocks. At least for a new room. I think you should do the crater. Damn it, that guy's mouth is his glasses. Alright, next game is the last game, and then we're gonna do a little bit of a Gartic, okay? I'll ping the group. Oh wait, let's do community games. Community games. Unless you guys don't want to do Gartic. Never mind. Super Monkey Ping or God? Obviously God Monkey. He's a god. That's what I was thinking, yeah. The rocks are cool, but like changing up the design is pretty cool too. Are you gonna have all lava or is it gonna like change to like ice and stuff? Diego's excited to draw. I wanna do Gartic. I don't know why, but I do. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Oh my god. There we go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Freaking Mario. Did you see that? Hitting his brother. Oh my god, I'm actually playing this amazingly. And by amazingly, I mean pretty decently. Ooh, you saw that boost? Wasn't that sexy? Actually, the best thing to get in first. Literally the best item in first. Lies, Rocket is better, but I wish this was the last round. Oh my god. What a nice way to end it if that was the last round. I don't even know what the point of all that was. I'm actually kind of ahead of them. It does help that I have 10, I messed up the boost! No, Bowser's gonna catch up. I'm just gonna take that so he can't get it. Yeah, he's gonna pass me. Oh my god, I so screwed that up! No, 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 no. No! I so screwed that up. Oh my god, that's so sad. That's actually so sad. Are you serious, bro? Are you freaking... What's going on with my... Ah! How'd he go into the wall? That man just went into the wall and teleported. I'm messing up my jumps. I'm like getting performance anxiety. Are you serious? What was that? If I don't get... I hate this game sometimes. It's the core of the earth. There's a fair bit of ice in the second section. Oh, that's sick. The core of the earth. That's pretty cool. Oh, this game, bro. This game. What a terrible game. Just horrible. Horrifyingly, disgustingly pitiful. Wait, what am I doing? Oh my god. Thank god we're going to Gartic. We could actually have some music now, which is nice. For a change, you know? But here, Gartic. Someone please copy and paste the code. I would appreciate that. And I'll just set stuff up here. And we'll have some SoundCloud so you guys could put music. So let's go to song request. What? Oh, I was like, why is no music playing? And now I make everything look nice, okay? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We go browser. Browser? PC games? Browse. Wrong one. Da 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 da. Let me just put the code in. Actually, I don't know if I want the code for this game. Yeah, I'll just have you guys put it periodically. Tell me if the music's too loud, by the way, guys. I could lower it. Yeah, I just pinged the Discord. Hopefully some people join soon. I thought I was gonna play along. Alright, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do, okay? Until more people join, okay? Until we have more people, we're gonna put some backing track music, okay? Oh my god, this sounds so not funky. I want some funk. You guys could hear that, right? I don't know. If no one responds in the next like 5 minutes, we'll change. Actually, we might just end stream earlier. Yeah, I don't know. This is too funky for me. Too funky. Here we go. While we wait. Unless you want to do just us two, Diego. This is the waiting screen for more people to join. Ah, someone joined. Oh, it says doctor backwards. I just realized. When we get one more person, we'll start. That was bad. More like rotten cod.
Wow.
I thought it was Roku for a second. I think most of the time we most of the time we start community games a bit later in the night.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Wait. No. Oh my god.
Waiting for people to come. We need
more people to play this game. Diego. I don't know. Diego. Do you want to do animation? Just us three. Do you want to do movie? Just us three. Do you want to do animation? Just us three. So it's more rounds, we so old. We're so old. We're so old. That was bad. We're so old. We're just waiting for one more player. We're so old. We're so old. We're so old. Do movie. Right now, or wait for another person? Or keep doing this? Do what? Do it. I can't do that on stream. I think I would get banned if I do it on stream. Oh, do a movie? Okay. Fine. You don't want to hear my plan. I get it. It's too godlike for your guys' ears anyway. There's no movie. Oh, there's no movie. Of course, you forgot a 9. Huh. Ah! Oh, it's not timed. Okay. Like Jew. I'll just... That's funny. He freaked out. Yeah, I thought... Yo, you're obsessed, bro. Jesus. How do I draw this? Actually, I want to try. I tried to take drawing. Ooh, that would be another thing for the subathon. Trying to draw, learning how to draw, and drawing with you guys, like art, like actual something. Ow! I keep hitting my mic. I'm sorry. Oh, you can't fill. La 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 la. Do 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 do. I stared at this guy for 48 hours or something in total. And I still don't remember how he looks. Oh my god. Does he have a black body? How does he look? I don't remember. Imamoda, Imamoda, Imamoda.
He got them little legs, though. I kind of remember that. I'm trying so hard. There we go. I'm sorry if you guys are waiting for me. Trying my best. Ooh. Oh, it actually shows how many people put in their stuff. Oh, okay. It's only one person, but never mind. Oh. That looks like a dildo or something. I don't know. We gotta change it up. Ugh. It's taking me so much work to draw. I kind of screwed it up, so I'm just gonna continue like this. Excuse. Oh my god, that was powerful. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Yay. Hey, Roku's back. What's up? Gartic sussy boy. Oh yeah. Hey. Jesus, I can't draw. It was looking good until... Oh my god, I'm so bad. Okay, you know what? I feel like that's not bad. I feel like that's not bad.
Whoa, whoa.
Do you guys have any challenge ideas? I have a bunch, but, you know, I'd rather hear from you guys. You know what I'm saying? Come on, guys, we gotta continue for Roku to join. By the way, Roku, you could add some music if you'd like. What the hell? Wait, how is this supposed to work again? I don't under... Why are the nipples so erotic? What if you did a challenge to do this little known indie game called Jump King? Wait, what is it like? Jesus, you're obsessed. Oh, he has... That's how his eyes look? Oh, I messed it out. I don't remember how this game mode works. I'm sorry. I probably should have filled in the blue first. I'll have to look up that game called Jump King. I don't think I've heard of it before. Just make the characters move in some way? That's how animation works. Oh, but we're doing movie. But welcome, Slayer. Yeah, we're doing movies, so I don't know if movie works the same way. Diego, can you put the link in chat for one moment? Gomen nasai. I guess movie, it's a movie, so it's the same as animation, but you have unlimited time. Is that the difference? I've only played it like once and I don't remember. Oh, you're already in the game. Okay, cool. Hey! Why is everyone redeeming that now? What's up, Grace? Did you read what it says? Oh no, I forgot it was in the middle. I forgot it was in the middle. It says it does absolutely nothing. Oh my god. Why do people... I don't get it. I guess I'll do this like it's animation. Whoa, that looks kind of sussy baka right here. Imama. Rishoki. 人は分かっているあの日の悲しみさえ苦しみさえ I ruined him. It's the same as animation, but double the moves on unlimited time. Oh. Let's try to hurry up then, guys. I'm saying as I'm the last one that's... Sorry, I'll be fast. Watch this. Oh, this is funny. I think I ruined God Monkey. Hello, Lily TP. What's up? Yeah, you can join next round. I'm officially broke. Why'd you spend the points? Technically, I'm supposed to give you a Discord role now. We just made it today. Let me see. Yo, Cray, say something in chat so I could give you the role. Thanks for the follow. Arigatou gozaimasu. I appreciate it. I declare bankruptcy. Jesus was Jewish, so draw him with a hat on his head like a Jew. It's okay, I'm Jewish, so this is fine. What the hell is this? And why does he have hooks? And why does it look like he's a scarecrow? He's Jesus, bro. How'd you do that? That's not very nice. I didn't say he doesn't like Christianity. You know what's the funniest thing? Jesus didn't create Christianity. His followers did, right? So technically... Wow, I'm just amazing at drawing. Why is it so hard? Sinai anani sobani tanoni. I'll read chat in a moment. Yeah, that's the best I can do. Magma Monster. Yeah, you could join. What's up? Diego, sorry, can you put the thing in the chat? Make it good. I tried my best. Don't put arms in the middle. Craze, post the screenshot in Discord. True. What's up, Magmum? Only if you ask politely. And you did, so I guess you can, but I don't know. I don't know you that well yet, so it's kind of nervous. All right, Crazy, you have the role now. What's going on? Can you guys actually send... Wait, I'm gonna... Doctor, you took the worst screenshot. Guys, send me the screenshot and I'll like... I don't know, I'll do something with it. I feel like I have to do something with it. You're joking? A pun gay. I'm joking. What's wrong with being gay? Let's go! I'm not gay though. Sorry. Come on, guys. We have people waiting. My drawing is so good. When it first popped up, I thought it was like a Nazi symbol, so I was like, sheesh. Crazy, you want to play? Again, this? Wait, what? What's going on here? I don't even know what the hell to draw here. I'm so confused. Whoa. Na 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 do da do ba boo boo. Do 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 do. His body shrank. I'm waiting in the elevator smelling other people's farts. Does it smell good or? You did fix it though. I messed up his eyes. If anyone knows what this game, what Jump King is, you're all losers. Just kidding. It's a fun game. It took me like 50 hours to beat the game. I'm such a loser. 22 of those hours were straight, like with no breaks. It was one of my crazier streams. More deadly than your mom. My mom's pretty deadly, bro. My cousin's farts used to be the craziest. We used to like go on vacation and we would share a bunk bed, bro. His farts were silent but deadly. I thought my farts were bad. His farts were like on another level. Like imagine like, well, you can't imagine it. It's just it smelled like poison, bro. Like you would die if you smell it. I don't know. I like make your mama jokes. Is it because you don't have a mom? I don't know. I'm sorry. My friend is so savage. He made yo mama jokes to my other friend who lost his mom. And I was like, what's wrong with it? We know each other since high school. But like that's the one joke like I don't make with this guy, right? He lost his mom like when we were in high school. And my other friend is just like, yo, how's your mom? Or something. And I was like, bro, what's wrong with you? Jesus. But thankfully my friend group is pretty chill about most things. But I wouldn't say that personally. Alright, let's finish this. I'm hurrying! Only one person got it, okay? I don't even know what this is supposed to entail, but... Oh my god, how'd you draw that so... Okay, you want me to hurry? This is gonna be terrible, okay? I don't have a drawing tablet like some of you guys. I do apologize for the wait, though. Oh, okay. Second worst time I've ever seen, but it's okay, you prevailed. Thanks. How do I change Pokemon? There should be a button somewhere that lets you change it. That says, Stream Avatars, or SA. If you're on desktop, you could scroll down and see it. If you're on mobile, you should be able to hover over the screen and see it, possibly. Why is everything jumping? Jesus, I'm terrible at drawing. What is this? You know what? No, this is hard. And we shouldn't have done movie mode. I don't know why I listened to you guys. We should have done animation. I knew tens of thousands of people would join, and I just screwed us up. I'm sorry, guys. Oh?
Did you just change my voice? Oh my god, I sound so sexy now. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Do you guys like that? That's the first time it's been in use. I just added it yesterday. Anyway, let me draw as best as I can here. You guys can hear me, right? Oh my god. Yeah, queen. Give me a second, guys. Give me like 1 second. This sounds so weird. How long does this last? Alright, one moment. My god, what is this? Like, I don't get what this is. Like, I actually don't get what this is. Hiya! No, I'm not gonna do that. That's kind of weird. Alright, let's get the circle in here. Let's get a bigger circle in here. Let's get some and some more. And I'll reach out in a moment. Sumimasen. This is some real work. Why am I dying and I have these pictures? How long did you put it for? Oh my god. That's what she said. I don't know. Oh my god. how short I am at school. You need to flip it thing? Oh, my bad. What I draw is sus. Excuse me, as long as it's not bannable by Twitch. What's up, Sai? How are you? My farts smell right now. 7 cheese sticks? That's a lot of cheese sticks. How much growing up God Monkey? Alright, let's see how you guys drew me as a Jew. Hey, good drawing. Next we got Doctor. Oh, this is a robe. I get it. How's this gonna look? You just copied it! You're supposed to animate it! Oh my god. It actually looks slightly different? I don't know. How long is this lasting? You know what? It's been too long.
I'm changing my voice back. Okay, he's just like, bruh, I'm Jewish. So,
Did you guys do it again? Oh my god. I will strike fear into your eyes. You shall fear me. Anyway, let's see, what do we got here? We got Pink gets his ass beat by God Monkey. Oh, that's what that turned into. Yo, this looks sick, Diego and Doctor. Oh, this one is so cool, actually. This one's so cool. What's so bad about being a Jew? White people hate Jews. I don't know, but some people hate us. Cortez! Welcome! Do you like the addition of voices?
alright, we're gonna turn that off for now. That one looked really nice. I like that one. Jump King is better than Gartic. Is it though? What is this? The crown broke and then it repaired itself? What's going on here? And then I made it move. And then... Oh, I see. Diego doesn't like it. That looks kind of cool. I guess I should have kept him here. I thought he was gonna move. It's a good song. Alright, we're not doing movie again, though. Alright. That was emotional. A lot of people hate Jews because there are a lot of Jewish people that are successful. So they think that there's like this theory that Jews like conspire and rule the world. But then my question is, why am I not successful? Just kidding, I'm successful. But not to the level that would like, you know? I'm not really, I don't know. Alright, what do you guys want to play? I'm gonna say... Yeah. I'm gonna do a poll so you guys can vote, okay? Everyone gets a vote. Between which one? We're gonna go normal. Knockoff. Movie is too long. Animation is essentially the same, so we'll go animation. I like animation a lot, actually. And speed run. Oops, I forgot to put that. Speed run. Let you guys vote on that. I put a poll up so you guys can vote. Don't forget to vote. I'm successful. You know what, Doctor? So am I. Anyway. No movie, sorry, Night Mom. Did you change my voice again? What's up, guys? Wait, did I press it? Oh, I forgot. Oh, hello? Did you guys... Oh, echo! Oh, echo! Oh,
Echo! 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 Echo!
What? Oh, I went back. Oh my god, I did mute myself. I'm an idiot. Thank you. It's gonna take a while to get used to. I was saying you can't put your balls on my jaws. It's a bit weird. You could put them on my mouth. I mean, what? On my face, but on my balls is kind of weird. Is what I was saying. We had 4 votes for animation, so. Oh, you can't fill with animation. That's the annoying thing. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, check out my latest YouTube video. It's pretty cool. We do some challenges on this channel from time to time. So if you want to see my sister slap me in the face, then you're in the right place. I always love doing ocean stuff, because I don't know what else I could do. I do keep muting myself, though. I have to get used to it. I have to find an easier way to press the buttons, you know what I mean? I get performance anxiety, just like when I'm in bed with my stepsister. What? What'd I say? Okay, let's see. What should we add here? By the way, you guys could add music if you want. If it's bad music, I'll skip it. I mean, what? If it's music I don't really like, I might skip it. What? Let's not make it too complex here. Guys, try to actually make an animation. Like, try to animate, because that's what makes the game fun. If you don't, it's not fun. Alright? And if you troll too hard, I kick you out! And yeah, that's about it. This song was so popular in Japan. I lived in Japan for 2 years, for those that didn't know. And this song was so popular there. I don't have time to draw in the sun. There we go. That doesn't look half bad. I always do that, but... Oh, that looks sick. Whoever drew this, good stuff, man. That looks so cool. What the hell? I actually really like this. It's like 2 chairs. This is really original. My draw. Is this your drawing, Roka? I like it if it is. And if it isn't, I still like it. Yeah, it is actually really nice. Especially to me, because I suck at drawing. I'm not saying that this is bad, but his arm is so interesting. Compared to... He looks like, oh my god, like he takes steroids. Not that I know what that looks like. But look at the middle of his body, like Jesus. I don't remember the words to this. Was it this color? No. I think it was this color. No, it's a smiling face? Oh. I really like this one. I want to know who drew this. Oh, let's do this. And we gotta get the blue lines in here. Hell yeah. I like this mode a lot because I also suck at drawing, so copying is easier for me. And I ran out of my icebreakers. Damn it. Is this a Naruto song? And nothing happens. What song is this? Oh, it's just taking forever to start. This is not a Naruto song. Oh, Lolo, sus. Lolo. Is this yours, Lily? What did I deny? No. I make it sus? Oh, God. Are you another one? Are you like Diego that makes every drawing Among Us? Oh, that looks so cool. I think... Oh. Never mind. uh, I was gonna say I think Doctor likes doing like the hamburger and then I saw the the Jump King. Honestly, this might be Diego to show that like Jump King sucks. Oh, and he's Burger King. Oh, that's actually funny. I like that. I just got that. Does it give you less time to draw, or am I just dumb? It's probably me just being dumb. Oh, I think it's the same time. Never mind. How did you fill this in so well? This guy is talking about how he's talking about this moment with this girl. That's literally the whole song. And like that moment felt like eternity or something. I already forgot the words. I'll read chat in a moment. Gomennasai. Let me do this picture justice. Oh, that was bad. No. I have no time. Oh, okay. We're good. What'd you guys say? Use a thicker pen? Yeah, I tried. Hello, official. Official GNS Game Boy Network system. Sus, I make it sus, no worse. Better be good for Twitch. I don't want to get banned. I did both of the drawings you've done. I just didn't have time to type here. Oh, okay. The chairs. Yo, I like the chairs a lot. Yeah, you can join this game. That's my profile picture on Discord. Oh yeah, I should have recognized that. I mean, you're the cherries, but you're not the body. How's your game going, by the way, Diego? And also, can you put the link for official when you have a chance? Sometimes if they don't move much, they could look nice too. Since we just did animation, I'll do the same poll, but taking off some of the options. Is this supposed to be money or his booger? I can't tell. We'll just make it a longer booger, or whatever it is. I don't know why I said it like that. Okay. What is this song? Boop. This should look cool. You joined the game? Okay, cool. By the way, feel free to put on music that you guys would like to listen to. I always love listening to new music and stuff. Well, not always, but a lot of the time. I crack myself up. Some of these should look pretty good. Animation with 7 people is pretty nice, if everyone actually adheres to it. It's me in Super Cherry Diego form. Ooh, nice. It pretty much is. Thank you, Doctor. Yeah, because I only have Japanese songs playing right now, so. And I don't remember the words to most of them. Doctor's character is Jump King. That saved you from God Monkey. True. Doctor loves Jump King. Doctor and Jump King are like... Do you dream about Jump King, Doctor? I made mine Kring. Kring. Is that a new, like, style? Cool. This is a nice song. This floods me with memories from Korea for some reason. I lived in Japan for 2 years teaching English, and then I traveled to Korea, North Korea. Nah, I'm joking. South Korea. For a bit. Just to travel, and it was very nice. Oh, this is Diego's drawing. Oh no, wait, he said his was. Oh, he said his smiley face. Was this yours, Lily? We're gonna make their head bigger because I already screwed up, so. I love how there's music. Boy! Why? Why is there music? Oh, he's sad. I thought he killed him. But he's actually sad. Oh no, we'll leave him or her on the same page here. I love the wavy hands. Boy! You guys are pretty good. This should look good. I'm happy. Alright, what did I want to do? I wanted to add the tiers, and then I'll look at chat. There we go. Oh, there should be more tiers. There we go. I got one of my friends to get the game, so if he actually plays it, I might have a playtester. Hell, I wanna try your game out. My map is way too hard for a beginner. I'll try it out. Can I be one of the first people to try it out? Can I be like one of the first streamers to try it out? Imagine your map blows up. Wouldn't that be so cool? Can I request a 9-minute song? Yeah, that's a great question, because there is a limit. It's 7-minute limits. 7-minute limits. But just for you, just for now, because you've asked, I'll let you request it. And I'll skip this song since it was in the middle of playing. It loops? Oh god. I shouldn't have said yes. But yeah, it's fine. Is it a song? Is it a meme? Whatever, you can request it. I put it so up to 10 minutes could be requested for now. I'll put it back to 7 minutes later. It's just when a lot of people request songs, it's if it's too long, then it's like people have to wait a long time for their song, that's why. You can play this, but I warn you, you'll probably have to use cheats. At least beat the other maps. It's gonna be way too hard for you right now. I hope it... I mean, that makes sense. Like, making the hardest map possible would make sense. Charles Cornell. We Shop theme cover. Okay. Hey, We Shop is pretty nice, so... Of course, Among Us. This must be Lily. This song just became popular when I left Japan. A year ago. I left Japan a little over a year ago now, Jesus. I had such big reverse culture. I had like panic, like attacks in the past. I think they were panic. I don't even know. Oh my god. Now I'm Gucci though. Just because I miss Japan. Damn! Jumpkin getting a lot of hate this stream. Oh, that's funny. Since I know Moscow, I'm going to Moscow. Yes, no more, it doesn't. I can tell people are getting lazier with their drawings because of the time. That would be my assumption. I don't blame you, there's a lot of drawings. That looks decent, I think. Maybe connect his arm would be better. There we go. This is my song, so I'll just skip it for now. Wait. I'll put it back on 7 minutes actually, because I'm gonna forget later. Okay, it still plays your song. That's nice. Bro, I know so many YouTubers use this, like, or streamers, for like copyright-free music, but bro, for those of us that grew up with the Wii, yo, this hits different. You grew up with the Wii? Pikachu! Damn, someone's a hater. Pikachu is cool, bro. I love how Pikachu is the one that's... Oh, he's killing. Shouldn't it be Pika kill? Wouldn't that... Oh, circles. Pika got a little fatter. This is such a calm song. And nothing wrong with calm, but it's so addicting. Jesus Christ. I like how you put the brain with these colors. That was kind of cool. This one is a more complex one. Where's his other eyebrow? Yo. Yo. Is this his other eyebrow? What's going on here? I grew up with the Wii too. I turned one depressing. Okay. Damn, everyone grew up with the Wii? Come on. Half of y'all are lying. Half of you guys are, like, younger than when the Wii came out, no? I don't know. Can I believe y'all? Well, I don't know actually how old everyone is, so. I feel like the Wii is so old, but like I'm 24, so to me it feels old. But for people who are older, it's like, what? That's not old. People who are younger might be like, that's old. Oh, I'm actually terrible at drawing. Okay, this is gonna come out cool. It came out in 2008, and was prominent until like 2013. Did you just look that up, or you just have an amazing memory? Because that's pretty cool how you remember that. Yeah, I got it. We've had it for a bunch of years. That's what I know. I don't remember what year we got it, but 2008. I don't think we got it before my brother was born. He was born 2000. Oh my god. I was about to say 2009. He was born. Wow, he was born 2009? No, he wasn't. What am I saying? He was born 2006. Yeah, he was born 2006. yeah. So we definitely got it when he was born. Alright, let's see what we got here. I make some sus and depressing one. Alright, let's see what we got with ping though. I could be a year or so off. That's from memory. I got mine in like 2011. Cool. Yeah, I don't remember when I got mine, but I used to play the ping pong one quite a bit. Cortez, nice. Oh my god, that's such a beautiful way to illustrate that. Oh, that sunk real quick. It's kind of sus. But that was a bad joke. Why did it change colors into what? Hey, I like this. Oh my god, that's illustrated so well. That's actually sexy. That's I like this a lot. You know what I just realized too? The sun changed with the first two. Cortez made it squeakly so you could see the sun changing. That is so cool. Could have been better possibly, or like easier to look at, but the last third picture is like whew, very nice. You made it sing, very nice. I used to play Lego Star Wars and I used to play Lego Star Wars too. This looks so cool. I basically made it a bit further. I want to see if someone like, let's see what Cortez did. Nice! It reversed. That's actually really clever. I don't know if I would have thought of that. I'm too stupid. Ah, come on, sus. You changed it up so much. Oh, not him? But everyone else continued it, so. Oh, Caspi, what's up? My dog just came. What's up, bro? Come here. Come here. You want to say hi to chat? He doesn't like when I pick him up. I'm just scratching him. I'm scratching him awkwardly. I mean, the surprise Pikachu face kind of maybe adds up. I see it. I get it. Oh, it's like from a different point of view. I see it now. I see it. But then he loses his head. Kind of good, not gonna lie. I made the first Octopussy. Wow. Ooh, he likes me rubbing him, bro. He loves when I rub him. Not like that, though. Hello, Senor Chumbo. I'm rubbing my dog, by the way. Someone should put a link in chat, and Not that link, but you could click on that one too. I did not know those are cherries. Really? That's what she said? Oh, well, thank you, Doctor. And thank you, Official, as well. Okay, we got Doctor with... Oh, Doctor putting the Jump King hate. That surprised me. I love how he put muscles there, and then the muscles went down with Diego's. I didn't even realize those were muscles. Oh, his ice, he's melted. Cortez, you're very creative. You have a very creative mind. That's funny too, Sus. I'm assuming that's you, yeah? Lily? Sheesh! And then it changes up completely. Sorry, it's okay. Still looks pretty cool. It's hard to get it off. I love how the king's hat falls off too, I just realized that. It looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. Oh my god. He's really liking the scratches. I'm gonna go like further down and further down. Roku with the high. Oh, he did pick his nose. Okay. And now my dog is tired of me. I didn't realize that. Oh, that's funny. I should have continued it. Oh, I actually ruined it, possibly. You made the bro part? Very nice. Hi. This should look good. Alright, changed this a little, but... It changes a lot, but... Further down to the underground bars. Y'all gonna treat my drawing like that? Not bad. Not bad. Kinda got a bit ruined in the end, but... Actually, not bad. The funny thing is, me not changing it makes it look like it stays there longer, which is kinda cool. Alright, I'm making JNS wait and Jumbo. My apologies. I made him flick the booger. You did. Nice. He wasn't supposed to pick his nose. Well, he did now. Ooh, Superman. Hoi. Oh, is that supposed to be boy? Hoyo. Oh, he dies, right? Yeah. Boy. What are... This is like Zoomer humor over here. Oh my god, how long is the song? Now, that's not his tongue. Why'd it turn into a tongue, Cortez? I like how the tears are coming out, though. That's kind of cool. All of them have a little, like... But then, consistency. Jesus, I did not see that. So what did that turn into? Nazi? What? There's a shorter version? No worries, no worries. Oh, damn, that escalated quickly. Oh! Sus? You changed the color of the tears. I'm really good at copying. There it is. Oh, I like the Among Us character in the back. You see, like, all of them have something, like, hard to, like, visualize when you see the whole thing. And then you see, like, something, like, in a row. I like this part. I like how you made it angry. Diego. Let's see what Cortez does. Oh, yeah. Yo, nice Pokemon ball. Nice Pokeball. Bruh. Moog, what's up? I love when you guys do sound effects to like say that you're here, basically. Yo, nice Ola. Nice electrifying. Who are you, Ola, by the way, in chat, just so I know. If that's okay. Pick a die. This one should look pretty cool, actually. Oh, Magma will start? Okay. I'm sure Cortez was like, this Pokeball is gonna stay and look amazing. And then Lily's like, And then Ola's like, what? Magmum is like, what? There was no. No. True. You can't join the Biome Old Club. I was created today. You need 10k points. It does nothing. It gives you a Discord role. Discord role. Discord. Mods. Anyway. Alright, we have quite a bit of people. I don't want new people to wait so long like Chumbo and JNS have, so let's do something that's not as long. Which one is kind of fast? Speedrun is fast, right? I think someone just got out too. I think speedrun is fast. Doctor got out? Let's do speed. Let's do one speedrun. Pong gonna be surprised. Next game, I got a little trick up my sleeve. Okay. Knockoff? You know what? Oh my god, Tyler! You know what? Let's hold a poll. I'll read all of chat in a second. Let's hold another poll. Polls are so easy. Well, they're not easy, but... I already forgot. I forgot the old poll. We'll do normal, knockoff, or speedrun as... Wow. As the new polls. Normal, knockoff, speedrun. How you doing, Tyler, bro? You been back to work? Which mode? I give everyone 1 minute this time, not 2 minutes to vote, okay? Did I miss one of the speed? Thank you, Magamum. I try. Thank you, Diego. How did I miss that? Even you even tagged me, Tyler. Good morning, Mook. How you doing, bro? Knockoff is fun. Yeah, knockoff is fun. There should be somewhere on screen where it pops up the poll, and you should be able to click on it. I wish I could join, but I have to get ready for Zoom class. Aw. For some reason, I read that as Zumba class, and I was like, "You're gonna do Zumba?" No worries, man. Enjoy. Click on the thing, pick the option, and click Voite. You don't see the poll? It might not be available in some countries, possibly. Oh, if it means anything, 5 people voted for knockoff, so I think we're good for knockoff. Tyler, you wanna catch me? Oh, that's so sweet. What the hell, Lily? You know you could add some more emotes there if you subscribe. This is actually... Isn't that great? I made that myself. Oh, we have so much stuff to share to new people. Oh, I'm so happy I've been like... So basically, my stream schedule right now is Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern for a few hours. Like 2 to 3 hours. It's a bit shorter because I'm spending a lot more time editing for YouTube. I don't know if you saw any of my YouTube stuff. And lately, and trying to improve stream with stuff like the lurk you just saw and stuff. Tyler, you could add on to those emotes if you'd like. And then I'll probably be streaming more in the future once we have more peeps. And once the YouTube picks up a little more steam. Oh, I also thought of doing a subathon. 24 hours in October that could be going for a full month, where we would have a bunch of different goals and we would make like songs together and stuff on stream. So what do you guys think of that? I mentioned it a bit earlier, but yeah. You actually upload now? Yeah, bro. I actually have no. I'm on the grind, baby. I'm on the grind set mentality right now. I'm actually like concentrating a lot on picking up myself and getting stuff done now. So unfortunately, I'm streaming less often, but that's just temporarily. Alright, I gotta make his face look like something, right? Not like that. Egg-gra? What does eggy-gra mean? Cough, cough, I don't care. Okay. Made it omega sus. Inappropriate? Listen. As long as it's Twitch enough friendly, I don't care. I don't mind if it's inappropriate. This is better than animation because you could actually use fill. Yeah, I might not like animation that much anymore. Knockoff used to be my favorite before they added the new stuff. Maybe it's my favorite again. Yo, I was binge listening to the song for a while. Yeah, but that's pretty much what's going on here, Tyler. We've been playing Mario Kart and community games. And I'm trying to do challenges more. So next Tuesday, most likely, we're going to have a challenge. My sister slapped me in the face last week, or 2 weeks ago. So that was cool. Song requests are on, yes. And I added some other stuff if you see. Ooh, let's make this actually cool. I never add wind. I want to actually add wind. I never feel like I'm cool enough to add wind. Get tired. Mine's gonna be a little sus? Okay. Welcome back, Nico. What's up? I missed that? You did! But you could see the video. And it's actually really fast-paced for ADHD brains. So for YouTube viewers. I'm gonna try to make content more fast-paced. Hey, Kyoran. Perfect. Yep. Perfect indeed. My drawing's real sus. I see. Oh, you saw that? Yeah, my brother basically forced me to get Splitgate. And I was killing, bro. I have like a 5 KD after like 10 games. But obviously, I'm assuming there's like... Well, I didn't play ranked because I'm not high enough level. I would play that on stream maybe. If people would want to watch it, but... I don't know. I'd play it off stream. I like it because I'm good, but I don't use the portals much. My aim is actually pretty good, that's why. I don't mean to be mean, but you play bots until level... Oh. My brother said he thought bots was just like first or second level. Damn it. Well, that explains a lot then. Then I should really concentrate on the portal aspect of it, because I don't. And it's not gonna work for later on down the road if I keep playing it. It's Twitch TOS, I think. Then why you do Twitch TOS? Why you do this? If it's not too bad, it's fine. 日本語で話します。まあなんか今日も日本語で話した。なぜなら日本語の先生みたいな人と話しました。毎週に1回ぐらい話す。またしましたか？これは本当にすごいですよね。でも難しいからできないと思う。なんでごめん。なんでしまったこれ。この歌、この曲、本当に好きですよ。ありがとうございます。ブラスタ君。どうしよう。これはちょっと難しいですよね。なんか。どうしよう。僕は本当にわからない。ここは、どうしよう。1、2、3、4。お兄ちゃん。ごめんなさい。ごめん。どうしよう。1、2、3。Oh, 1 minute passed. But girl voice remains unless someone cancels it. You listen to all those VR girls. I'm sure you liked that a lot, huh, Blaster? Yo, this picture was really good, Diego. And I'm not gonna do it service. Okay, what? Something wrong with my gaming channel. I can't access Nico Re 17. Oh no, that's not good. That is a sick ass picture. And I'm not gonna do it justice. Now it looks like a bunch of balls. Kurote Hagus. Amaga Sasu? Sasibaka? Let's go. Boo. Oh my god. Boo. Oh, that doesn't really work. Boo. Kurati boo boo. Boo. Wait, we're almost done. Okay, that's good. I don't even watch VTubers anymore. You don't? Oh no, this is not, this is fine, because it says pensas. It doesn't say penis, so it's fine.
Kurote pupo. Penis is not, it's different. Pensas. Oh my god, give me a second. Oh my god, I can't believe you don't watch them anymore. That actually surprises me. Do you still watch Tectonus? Your favorite streamer? This is the best I'm gonna do. I'm not even gonna try to do more. I'm so sorry to the person who made the good Pikachu drawing. So bad. Listen, it's hard to draw. It's okay. It's okay, GNS. I feel your pain. Not nearly as much as I used to. Are you busy with work? That's why? Please, someone cancel my voice. I'm gonna lose it. It's so hard to do this for 5 minutes. Hazim Ahmed? We don't listen to that type of music here. I'm Jewish. Come on, bro. You know what? From now on, I'm just gonna keep my sarcastic jokes. And I'm not gonna tell you guys I'm just joking. So that it weeds out all the people that think I'm not joking. And yeah, I don't remember what was written here, so I'm just gonna write sus. Oh my god, let's go. Let's go. I need to pee. I'm gonna hold it in. I said penis and had a drawing of one, but I added the sus. Oh, good job. Pence. I love how you say it and then it pops up. How many times did people saying penis? That's not original. Penis! Oh no, wait, it didn't say that. It said pensas. Yo, this song sounds fire! What is this song? I never heard this. Oh yeah, I also added this.
What's up, guys?
I added a voice mod. Oh no. I forgot it's slower. Yes, whoever did this, thank you. Yo, this sounds... Is this from an anime? Yo, you know what anime I've been watching recently, which is fire? Have you guys ever seen Tokyo Revengers? That show was so fire, and the intro song is so good too. Me finding probability of event ENS or event S. What? Oh, Enos. Penis? It's from Floret's Eyes song. Yeah, I don't know that. Someone is drawing so many penises. Listen, if you draw an actual penis, and it's girthy and everything, if you're not making an effort, then you might get kicked, bro. I don't want to be that guy, but... Or maybe I won't care. We'll see. Mad underrated anime? Can you send me the title on DM? Can you DM me the title? I want to check it out later. Come on, bro. Why are you drawing this, bro? This is... TOS, bro! Don't draw that! Don't draw it! Sus! No! Okay? But it's an original anime made from the studio that animated the first 3 seasons of AOT. Oh, double... Oh, I liked the original studio that animated the first 3 stories. It's not Wit, right? It's the other one? Diagonals, of course.
Bro, 6 minutes passed. Why'd I continue doing that? Jesus. Okay. We got my beautiful picture. Chumbo adding that nice face. That actually is a color that makes more sense than my color. I like how it looks like the globe. Yo, you made this look nicer. Look at that water. Good job, Chumbo. GNS. Okay, good attempt. Roku, are you the one drawing penises? Bruh. What is the original one? Oh, okay. Mappa is on AOT. Which one? Thank you, Diego. Which one made the, Which studio was the one that made, Jujutsu Kaisen? I'm sorry. No problem. It's just too childish, bro. Everything turned into Among Us and penises. I found this text. This account has been terminated due to multiple or severe violations of YouTube's policy against spam. Whoa. It might be because of... I've never seen that. They might have actually banned your account because of follow for subscribe for sub for sub. You were doing sub for sub, right? No way they actually banned it though. You got 5 penises? I love how I unironically turned this into a penis, kind of. Or maybe that's all I see now. Oh, nice. You turned it into a box. Roku, come on. Don't do that anymore. I'm surprised it's you, Roku. That's pretty creative, though. I'm not gonna lie. But, like, come on. I don't think Twitch likes that. And it's like, it wasn't me making the penis. Bro, it says Roku. Roku, why? Exactly. Mappa made Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh, okay. Mappa. It is currently 12:21 in the morning. Like midnight. Banned. Nah, I'm not gonna ban Roku. Because I know Roku. Roku's been around for a while, you know? I'm not gonna ban Roku. But just don't do that anymore, you know? We want to actually get some drawings in. I know it's funny when you're a kid, but... I can't press next. Oh, that worked. Mappa's the one you didn't like the CGI of season 4. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, it's cause you were right though. They were using more CGI. Yo, this is sick. You see, Roku, this is the reason why we don't like just writing penis as a joke and stuff. You ruin like such cool pictures like this. Like if you tried to draw this, this could have turned into something pretty cool, you know? Haha, penis funny. XD. Exactly. He's not gonna ban you. If he bans you, I ban him. Nice creativity here. To tell you the truth, every drawing is a penis. Yeah, I figured. I chat my Gmail, also Google security. Set unknown device using my account. Oh, so maybe someone hacked your account then, yeah. I would suggest for anyone who's a YouTuber, or, you know. For security, you might want to, Chumbo, that was nice. That was really nice. For security, you might want to, get Yubico. It's a very good security, like, card. NFC. It's a bit pricey. It's like $30 or something, but you'll never need it again. It's to secure your YouTube account. Try to like request your account back or something, because that's a pretty serious deal. This look cool. Oh, now it was Ola's turn. Oh, that's kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie. Yo. I like this. That's very creative. You actually turned it into something creative. What is this chip called? It's called Yubiki. Maybe it's Japanese. Cause Yubi means finger. Anyway. Good night, doctor. Bye, I'm old. I can tell you what the anime is about and see if it catches your eye. Yeah, do that. Tell me what it's about. Sorry, Cortez. Don't hate yourself, Roku. It's gonna turn into PP because of Roku. I ruin everything. Sorry, guys. And now you know, so it's okay. I didn't hear the sound alert for some reason. The first one is funny. Yo, this was sick! I didn't look at it yet. I was trying to catch up with chat. I made a whole page of PPs. Nice. It basically makes it so every time you log into your YouTube, you need to use the like the key basically. It's like the safest thing you could have. I actually need to set it up for my YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, this looks sick, bro. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Good try. This is hard, but this is so cool, man. And it turned into an elephant. My attempt at a Sunset River is so bad. It doesn't look that bad, to be honest. But that's coming from me. I'm not a great artist. It looks better than Cortez's. No offense, Cortez. It looks cool. It looks cool. The colors actually match pretty. It looks pretty cool. I think if you use shading more with the same color, then it. Oh, you did a little bit here though. Yeah, I don't know. Why are there orange dots in the middle of nowhere? I couldn't even copy this well. Can we do normal next game? Yeah. I'll say next game will be the last game and we'll do normal. Thank you, Lily TB. My mods don't even do it. Like Skillshare? I don't know if it's like Skillshare. No, I don't think it's like Skillshare. Yo, what just happened to the song? Oh, okay. I had my... What? What just happened to the song? That song sounded cool. Elephant. Send me that song too, actually. That song's... Yo, Chumbo! That's so cute! That is so cool! It's better if you just watch it? Yeah. Actually, don't explain to me. But message me it if that's okay. I don't know how we got the dark blues. Yeah, it looked nice, right? What an amazing painting. Tyler skipped his own picture, that's why. I liked that own song. I like that song, actually. Is there a way to sing song cue? Yes. Come on, mods. They are lacking a bit here. Here it is. This Pikachu looks really cool. These don't look bad either. Ola's just like, fine, I'll do it. Alright, no penises, guys. God drawing skill, yeah. That was really cool. That was the Doritos one and the Pikachu possibly were picture worthy for the Reddit. Maybe we should have taken... I hope someone took a screenshot to put it on the Discord or something. I don't have a pen pad either. I'm just mouse. Yeah, it's definitely harder like that. If you want to join the Discord, anytime I play like community games, I notify people on the Discord. If you're enjoying your time now and would like to play in the future. But yeah, last game will be normal, and then we'll be signing off for the night. Hey, another Japanese song. Let's go. Bossa Nova in Japanese? Oh, that's... Oh, I wanna hear this. I have of other ones I've done. Oh, hell yeah. You have pictures of other ones? Send them on the Discord. I love seeing drawings from Gartic that are good. It's actually like so... It's so like amazing to see. Let me see. Toothbrush. Yeah, Chumbo, that was good. Cortez, honestly, the Doritos was mad nice. Should have taken a picture. Pikachu shooting a baby off a bridge while Kermit is dead. Let's see, how could we do this? You're welcome, bro. I wish I could draw. I was learning how to draw on my free time. Like, actually learning. And then at some point, they wanted me to draw a tire. And it was just too hard, and I just gave up. I love how everyone knows how Pikachu looks. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people. What? I still can't draw him, though. Jesus. Oh my god, I suck. Why is it so hard to draw? He got nice dimples. I know that. He got nice dimples over here. And he got that I don't even know what his body looks like, bro. Let's just go yellow body. Kind of looks like him. I gotta draw the rest of this picture before it's too late. We got like... Oh my god, this is so hard. There's so much going on here. Look at that. We also have God Monkey once a month. Tyler, I forgot to mention that. Oh wait, why would he be smiling? He would be sad. And there would be blood. sad story. Then Kermit's just in the corner randomly. Kermit the Frog. I wish I could do sounds. I'd be so popular amongst the ladies. Probably not. Is this the same song twice? Or is this just the song end credits? No. I need to finish Kermit. No. Kermit, I'm sorry I ruined you. Oh my god. Alright, well. There's Kermit. He's dead. It is the same song, right? Skip the song, mods. Come on. I made mine pretty good. Nice. Again, Jump King? Oh yeah, I forgot it's normal. Finishing. Jump King. Ooh, is this a Bossa Nova? Thank you, Diego. This sounds nice. This is jazz, it says. They said this is an anime. Aimbot shell. I'm so good that I get hit by aimbot, right? I'll take it. I actually like this song. Never heard it before, but it sounds cool. Wait, I can make this... I'll leave it like this. I want to actually make mine good for once. I'm so bad at drawing. I was playing Mario Kart earlier today for anyone who was wondering why this person said Mario Kart. And I scream a lot when I play Mario Kart. Oh, let's get this in here. Ooh, let's see if I could get this. Ooh, I really hope I could get this. What does a green shell look like? It's just a green shell, right? But I feel like... Yep, psycho! Wait, I'm an idiot. Why would... What? No, this should be lighter. And this should be all the way here. Gardeniella. Ooh. Always down for new songs. It has like a shelly surface. Boom. Actually, that doesn't look half bad. That actually doesn't look half bad. Good job, Ping Pong. Good job. Wait, now it doesn't make sense. Wait, no. No. Yeah. I don't know what this is, but it's... I think it gets the blue one. What do you mean blue one? Yeah, I don't know why I made the surrounding blue. What the hell? I like this. Sonic with cane kisses cactus, smiley cactus. I like it. I like it. Akari ga yatte kita zo. Hey, GNS, you're also a Japanese or anime fan, yeah? Or like Japanese music fan. That's awesome. Akari. I forgot so much of my Japanese. Akari ga yatte kita. Finally came. Akari. What does Akari mean? Blue shell is aimbot? Oh, yeah, I'm an idiot. Why did you draw the green one? I thought they meant like just an aimbot. Gets hit by a green giant arm at high speed. What is this? Alright, let's draw this. This is Shrek's baby right here. Tomato. Ooh, I wonder if this is understandable. Someone loves babies getting hit for some reason. I don't understand. Giant's green arm. Should we make it a veiny arm? Nah, I'll just make it an arm. Oh, Jesus, that is not green. Oh. Boom. Boom. That is dumb. Come on, ping pong. Make this good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's make it a little bit highlighted so that we could get the veins in here. Oh, nope. Veins in here. It's not really veins, but... And then we gotta get the hits, the smack. Bam! Wait, that doesn't look good. I like this song. Never heard it before, but I like it. Smack. How do you show a smack? Boom. Oh, I have to show that it's at high speed also. So it's like, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. It's like, boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. I'm trying so hard with this. Okay. Time for some cursed anime music. Put it through. Let's see what it is. Oh my god, my nose keeps scratching and I don't want to pick my nose on stream. Not that I ever pick my nose, of course. Alright, we got 2 more rounds left. Which means 1 more drawing round, pretty much. Ooh, nice. Bob Ross painting. What is that? Among Us saying no. It's definitely Bob Ross, right? Is that a fish? Is that salami? I don't know what that is. Oh, he's painting the stream. No, I don't know. I can't tell. I should actually use this key. I don't know why I've never used it. I'm kind of dumb. Manufactured in Sweden too. A giant green eel. He spelled eel wrong and vomits. I'm an English teacher. It's okay. Giant green eel. How do eels look? Well, they're not black if they're green. I feel like they're just slimy, like vomits. How do you show vomit? That's how you show it. The hell is this, bro? This sounds mad weird. Is this the cursed music? We gotta add that. Smokes weed. Well, yeah, hopefully that's understandable. I don't know how to draw. Wait. He would be in the sea because he's an eel. Doka! Yo, this song sounds fire. What the hell? The song's actually fire. I don't know what it is, but... And I'm still holding in my pee-pee. You gotta go? Alright, see you, Diego. Well, it was the last game, so... Have a good one. Let's see if we're gonna raid anyone today. 12 people I follow are online. Let's see. Oh, it looks like someone... Yeah, we'll raid Kyoran. Kyoran is a nice guy. If he's... Oh, Lando? Oh, Lando's actually streaming. And he's streaming art, so it's related to this. Yeah, we'll raid Rando. Lando. Lando's pretty nice guy also, very chill. So we'll have the chill vibes after this. For anyone who wants to see good art. Made Baby Hulk pee on the floor. Nice. You can listen to an instrumental version also. I like it though, even without instrumental. It's very... I love piano. I play piano a bit. I like the piano. I could get your Discord to work. All I see is the welcome. Yeah, you gotta react to the... You gotta read the instructions, that's why. I made Shrek here actually pretty good. Let's see. Toothbrush eats table. Nice! Blue line with a gray square face on top shouting. Oh, come on, this doesn't look like a toothbrush. Well, I guess because I knew it was a toothbrush, but... Nice. Gray square on ice is angry. Blocky shark Buyer King? I guess so, Roku. I made Sharky actually pretty good. He was pretty good. I like that. If that was your shark. Oh no, you were the one that guessed it was shark, right? Dr. Gur kills Jump King character himself. I didn't draw that. Cortez is just like, no. Finishing Jump King. That looks very nice, Cortez. I like it. Jump King is a game. Basically, we did a 24... I do 24-hour streams on this channel from time to time. And we did one, like, trying to beat this game. And he's in love with this game, Doctor. Just draw check. Nice Shrek! I like it, Janice. Roku, nice! He's pretty good. That's what it looked like to me, a blocky shark. The song is low-key fire for some reason. Why are you yelling? Captain America punches Thanos. Looks like Hulk. Old-ass Sonic holds hands with a cactus that has a brain. You know what? I could see that. I like this for some reason, though, because this looks like something I would draw. I know he's trying to kiss him. Sonic with cane kisses smiley cactus. Nice drawing, Chumba. I thought that said Hulk, not Thanos. Oh, okay. Okay, so you did draw Hulk. Like, I did think it was Hulk. This is nice, Chumbo. Sonic holding his shit after smashing. That's hilarious, because it did look like a shit after that. That's funny. Alien invasions. Nice. Pretty accurate. Alien drop shit. Person. Oh, I could see it. So it looks like poop. And a green alien baby. A green baby gets hit by a green giant arm. Isn't that funny how we interpret it differently? I was like, this one looks weird but cool. And then I realized it was mine. Baby Hulk slipping off cactus. Oh, come on, Cortez. Don't you see this beautiful diaper? And the arm is all veiny. Oh, come on. Okay. Peach-a-Jew. Okay. Shooting a baby off a bridge while Kermit is dead. It's pretty accurate, I think. Kind of hard to draw, but... Pika-2 fighting a zombie. Yo! That looks so good! You're... Pikachu is nice. This Pikachu, thing looks interesting too. I love this song. This does kind of look like a zombie, Jesus. Pika sees a zombie. I love this Pika as well. Nice zombie. Pikachu and a zombie, only the heads. Nice! Everyone's drawing pretty nice here. This is from a song, from a movie. I actually watched this movie in Japan, in Japanese. Didn't understand the whole thing, but it was so cool. It was in 4D, so rain actually hit us and stuff. I think it's from this movie. Let me just double check. Yep. What was the movie called? I forgot. Damn it. The song's called Grand Escape, though, if anyone's curious. It's a song, slow song, though. Mario Kart Blue Shell about to hit ping pong. Oh, no. Nice drawing. No. Ping pong master playing Mario Kart and got hit by aimbot shell. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Empty. Good try, Roku. Somehow it kind of goes back to penis. Wally. Yo! Nice Wally. Sorry for yawning. This is my bedtime soon. Nice Wally. I like it a lot. Roku, you had a nice Shrek earlier, so that makes up for it, right? Artist tries to draw his opinion, but is destroyed by China. China boom. At least show the boom. But nice artist depiction. No arms. Bob Ross paints China's destruction by atomic bomb. Somehow Cortez got the China destruct. Oh, that's a nuke. I thought it was an egg or an Among Us. Leave it up to Diego to draw something that looks like Among Us. Bob Ross painting Hiroshima nuke. Did everyone see this as a nuke? Am I the only dumbass? Bob Ross oh, Among Us saying, you know, this looks really good. He has no eyes though. Yeah, no eyes. Time for the eyes, I'm assuming, yeah? I say, Chumbo, I didn't really understand the concept. No worries. You tried your best, bro. That's what counts. Frog catch. All my drawings are terrible anyway. It's for practice and for giggles. Shits and giggles. You ran out of time? Yeah, I figured. It looked kind of cool without eyes though. Frog catching a fly. Where's the fly? Jesus! That looks cool, but that does not look like a frog. It looks more like Kermit. Sniping turtle screaming, but it's zoomed in on the head. You know what? I can't say anything. Look at this. You put some drawings in Discord gallery? Hell yeah. Let me see some of your drawings. This is the Discord link if anyone wants to join to just chill and stuff. Oh, Diego put some of them from today. On the chat. Oh, hell yeah. Yo, your elephant. You draw really well. Appa! I fucking love Avatar. I can't wait for the new series to come out. Alright, well, we're gonna raid... Where is he? Lando right now. Thanks for watching, guys. I think I already pressed the button, possibly. But yes. Nice meeting some of you guys. I can send mine. Yeah, send it. I'll put something on Gartic. Hell yeah. Alright, good night, y'all. Hopefully it should rate him. I don't know if it rated. It doesn't look like it rated. I think I have to manually rate. I thought the button would rate for me, but whatever. Go. Come on, Lando. Here we go. There we go. Did you say new series? Yeah, they're having a new series soon. Naruto is fire though. I want to see your Naruto picture. Have a good sleep as well. Love you, no homo. Love you too. No homo, I suppose. And for everyone who wants to raid, why is the raid not working? What the heck? Huh? It like stops itself. Oh, I have to press the button after. They changed... Twitch actually changed it up. Netflix series, but they're also making a couple of other avatars. You're back, Diego. You put some non-Gartic? Hell yeah. I'll look into it after the raid. The animated new Avatar series were There were misspread rumors? Are you serious? Oh. It says I don't have permission to send messages? What? Message, DM me, and I'll see why that is. Alright, let's raid. Have an amazing night. Nice meeting some of you guys, and yeah. Until next time. Until Tuesday. Tuesday, isn't it? Oh, the song's fire. Oh, I'm still streaming.